Good morning, folks. This is Deb Delapiana, and this is your short take. Yes, I promised you coffee with me this morning, and you're getting it. So, my first post, I wake up in the middle of the night, and I always end up looking at my phone, even though I swear to God I'm not going to do it. But I do. And my first post this morning was, thank God this term is over for the Supreme Court. I agree with you, but guess what? They'll be back. They'll be back because this Supreme Court and every Supreme Court is based on a lifetime appointment. That's one of the things that I believe needs to change. Now, do I believe it should be every 4 years? No, I don't, actually. I think for continuity, it needs to be longer than that, but that's a discussion for a different video. What I want to talk to you about here is we have a lot of work to do. The Supreme Court ruled well in several cases. For example, in Louisiana and Alabama and North Carolina, they struck a blow for democracy. The redistricting in Louisiana and Alabama will give the Democrats 2 more seats, okay? But we have to do something with those seats, okay? We don't just get a ruling from the Supreme Court and it's fucking magic, okay? It's called voting. And that's really the crux of this whole video, which is always the crux of every video. And why is that? Because change only comes when you vote. I hear people say all the time, we need to investigate and remove Clarence Thomas. The only way a chief justice or a justice, I'm sorry, forget the chief part. The only way a justice can be removed from the Supreme Court in this country is when there is an investigation and then a trial and then a 2/3 majority of the Senate, which means 67 senators have to vote to remove this justice. If you think you're going to get any cooperation whatsoever from the GOP, you're not. They literally stacked the court to do exactly what these people are doing right now. The GOP stacked the court for this purpose. And I'm sorry, I understand that not every GOP member is MAGA in the Senate the way they are in the House. But you know what? What they are is quiet. They don't speak out. They don't rock the boat, and they don't rock the boat because they don't want to lose any senators. It's as simple as that. The Supreme Court today is the enforcement arm for the GOP's ugly, nasty, bad policies because yesterday, in spite of all of the good rulings on gerrymandering and redistricting, they voted to overturn President Biden's student loan forgiveness program, and they ruled in favor of I believe, a Christian who didn't want to build a website for a gay couple. So they opened the door for discrimination against LGBTQ plus people. Now, that may seem like just a little thing, that whole creating a website, but it isn't, because once you open that door to discrimination, it can be applied across the board. Every single Supreme Court decision has broader implications for the groups of people they are victimizing. Simple, okay? How did we end up in this mess? I'll tell you how we ended up with Donald Trump in 2016. Low Democratic voter turnout. It wasn't a surge in white supremacist voters. He legitimized white supremacy after he got in. Certainly he did some of it before that, but it exploded after he became president and everyone was safe being that. Low Democratic voter turnout, apathy towards Hillary Clinton, and buying into some of the Russian disinformation that was amplified all over social media by right-wingers. If we had had Hillary Clinton for president, Roe v. Wade would not have been overturned. If we had Hillary Clinton for president, none of this shit would be going on with the oppression of the LGBT and transgender community. We would have been in a lot better position. You may not have liked everything she stood for, but you know what? She wasn't a fascist. She wasn't a dictator, and she wasn't an authoritarian. Do this again in 2024 at everybody's peril. All right. It will be game, set, and match for democracy here. We have a full house of MAGA Republicans that are all up for re-election. We should never have lost the House at the midterms. Again, low Democratic voter turnout. Florida ended up becoming a fascist playground because it was even lower than 52% in Florida. Nobody that was a Democrat voted practically in Florida. That's what it feels like. This is how they ended up with the great Satan down there. They could have had Charlie Crist, but they didn't. Okay? They simply didn't. They were apathetic to Charlie Crist. We could have gotten rid of Marco Rubio. We could have had Val Demings, but they didn't bother to go out and vote. There is no change coming in America anywhere unless you vote. And there is no change coming in America from a Republican-led government that is any good. This gets worse from here. If you're thinking, okay, Donald Trump's indicted now, he's not going to be the candidate. He's leading the GOP field by a long shot. The next closest is to Satan, but the rest of the guys, Chris Christie's not even on the meter. Asa Hutchinson's way on the bottom. It's DeSantis or it's Trump. That's the way it's going to play out here. If you don't vote, we're doomed. I can't emphasize this enough. Unless you're a white, cisgendered male in America, there is no safe place for you. And understand this. Gretchen Whitmer said this the other day. Michigan's got a great state. My state's great. Massachusetts, awesome. Predominantly Democratic. 40 state senators, only 3 are GOP. 160 representative state reps. 100, I believe it's how many? 134 are Democrats. 25 are Republicans, and 1 is unattached. But you know something? If they pass a nationwide abortion ban, there will be no safe states for women's rights in America. If they pass bans on transgender care, there will be no safe place for transgender people to go and get the care that they need. And believe me, I really believe that they will not just be banning transgender care for children. I believe that they will ban transgender care for adults as well. They have told you exactly who they are. They have told you exactly what their plans are. They have told you, Donald Trump warned you when he was campaigning that he would stack the Supreme Court specifically with the intent of overturning Roe v. Wade, and that's exactly what he did. You had donors who are still donors openly stating that they don't believe democracy and freedom can coexist. Peter Thiel is one of them. He's still pouring money into the GOP side of the coin. The one thing and the big difference between the right-wing voters and the left-wing voters, the right-wing voters almost never sit anything out. And you better understand that. Now, everything we say in every one of these videos is supported by data. And all of that appears on our YouTube version of these videos. We can't put them in the TikTok version, but we do put up YouTube versions of every single one of them. And all that information is in there, should you choose to read it. If you don't choose to read it, then I can't help you. The implications for this nation, should we take another term off, should we continue to show apathy to Joe Biden after everything he has managed to do in the face of all of this obstruction, I just can't even believe we're here. Wake up, America. This guy's fighting a battle, okay? Is he perfect? There will never be a perfect president. There will never be a perfect party. It will always involve the people being involved. But sitting out because you're pissed off at a party, not voting, that's not a solution to anything. That's a capitulation to the enemy. Wake up, okay? We will again be talking about Joe Biden and what he's accomplished since he was elected in another video. And you know what? Forget his age. Consider it fucking experience, okay? Consider it experience. And by the way, forget Gen Z. Yes, they will be a force, but we all need to vote. The boomers, the millennials, Gen Z, every generation that's of voting age needs to be out there. I'll talk to you all later.